world is falling, can't you feel the sound? Voices shouting, but no truth is found. We draw our lines between left and left or right, but love is silent while we choose to fight. How many tears must we cry before we see each other and close the war? Nobody cares until somebody dies. We're blind to the truth, deaf to the cries. Nobody cares about humanity. Hearts in chains, lost in disparity. Forget about our races, can't you see? We are all the same, you and me. Wake up world, can't you see? We are losing our humanity. We are people with hearts that bleed the same, yet all we do is want to place the blame. Wake up world, can't you see? We are losing our humanity. Families broken, torn by pain. Another headline, just another day. We point our fingers, we shift the blame, but everyone still pleads the same. If love is fading, what will remain? A broken world full of endless pain. Nobody cares until somebody dies. We're blind to the truth, deaf to the cries. Nobody cares about humanity. Hearts in chains, lost disparity. Forget about our races, can't you see? We are all the same, you and me. Wake up world, can't you see? We are losing our humanity. We are people with hearts that bleed the same, yet all we do is want to place the blame. Wake up world, can't you see? We are losing our humanity. Take my hand, let's break these chains. Heal the hurt, erase the shame. One world, one voice, one destiny. Together we can rewrite history. Nobody cares until somebody dies. We're blind to the truth, deaf to the cries. Nobody cares about humanity. Hearts in chains, lost disparity. Forget about our races, can't you see? We're all the same, you and me. We are people with hearts that bleed the same. You know we do is want to place the blame. Wake up world, can't you see? We are losing our humanity. Wake up world, before it's too late. Open your eyes, love can still change our fate. One world, one people, hearts that beat as one. Don't let our humanity be gone.
Welcome to the midnight tide, where shadows whisper, darkness hides. We're diving deep into the unknown. On a journey, you're not alone. From haunted halls to specters lost, we'll guide you through the eerie frost, with tales that chill and spirits roam. A freaking awesome paranormal show. Ghostly whispers, ancient tomes, mysteries in haunted homes. Brace yourselves, it's time to go. The freaking awesome paranormal show. The freaking night tide where shadows whisper, darkness hides. We're diving deep into the unknown. On a journey, you're not alone. From haunted halls to specters lost, we'll guide you through the eerie frost with tales that chill and spirits roam. The Freakin Awesome Paranormal Show. Ghostly whispers, ancient tomes, mysteries and haunted homes. Brace yourselves, it's time to go. The Freakin Awesome Paranormal Show. The Freakin Awesome Paranormal Show. Ghostly whispers, ancient tomes, mysteries in haunted homes. Brace yourselves, it's time to go. The Freakin Awesome Paranormal Show.
The engine is starting up.
For launch, GC, go. Guidance, go. Fido, go. Prop, go. GNC, go. Max, go. Eagle, go. Ecom,
Go pending final steps to cabin link check.
3, 2, 1.
Is there anyone here that would like to communicate with us? Can you give us a sign?
Welcome to the Rift Nation Network, the RNN, putting a slide in your glide and a dip in your hip. Welcome to the mothership, the home of the travelers of the universe. With shows throughout the week, you can find us at Instagram, Twitch, Facebook, YouTube, Spotify, and more. Everything you could want, everything you can need right here, right now. From the paranormal to the supernatural, from comedy to the spiritual. And now, your featured show. Shall we begin?
It's showtime, folks!
Podcast may contain material that some listeners may find sensitive, offensive, or disturbing. We strive to create respectful and informative content, but topics discussed may include mature themes such as violence, explicit language, or controversial subjects, triggering content including discussions related to mental health, trauma, or other sensitive issues, explicit language. Occasionally, our guests or hosts may use strong language. While we aim to handle these topics with care and empathy, we encourage listeners to exercise discretion. If you find any content distressing, consider skipping or seeking support. Remember that this podcast is not a substitute for professional advice. If you need assistance, please consult a qualified expert.
Oh, you know what? Fuck it. You know, I don't know what's going on.
Clearly, this is how it's going to roll today.
Yeah, this is how it's going to go. You know,
This is how we do it.
I was playing music earlier and it kept stopping. So yeah,
we had all kinds of. Even today at work, we had some Teams calls and like nobody could get in, and then when you'd get in, it would kick you out. It was technology has been interesting today, all across the board.
well, it is National Devil's Food Cake Day. So
Well, that's what it is. I
devil-
haven't had my devil's food cake.
Yeah. The devil is taking over food cake apparently, and taking over the restream.
Yeah.
Because I don't know what the heck's going on with it. But what's up, all you freaks out there? This is Ryan,
This is Rhonda.
and minus our intro. But you know what? We're going to cut that intro short because I don't know what the heck's going on.
You know what?
And we have a
Intro schmintro.
yeah, we don't need
Who
the
are.
intro. Yes, they know who we are. But we do have a special musical guest. Well, not really
We
a guest because she's not on with us because she's in England and probably asleep but our friend Helena King sent over some songs for us to try out. So we're going to listen to one of them right now.
Yep.
And it was special. Very thankful that she sent us the songs. This is the latest song. She has an album coming out pretty soon. And let's see. I don't know if she has. I don't know if it's an album or if it's just like a playlist or what they do now. If it's just online or what. But this is one of her songs. So I'm gonna do this one because one of them has a lot of cuss words in it. I don't remember which one it is. So if it's this one, I apologize.
Clearly, nothing technology is working for us, so you get what you get.
That's true. I think it's this one. I think it might be this one. Yeah, this one doesn't have the cuss words in it. So let's try it. All right, here we go.
I was a child when I met the first one. Eyes like fog, face half gone. He said my name like it hurt his tongue. And I learned what dying does when it's wrong. They call it gift, they call it grace, but they don't see the blood on every face. I felt the spirits take their breath, felt the shiver that comes with death. It's not heaven, it's not divine. It's a world that won't stay on its side. I see things the living never see, hear the cries that won't let me be. I walk through ghosts on my way to the store, smile like I'm fine, but I'm haunted to the core. It's a blessing, it's a curse, it's me living between what is and used to be. Children covered in dirt and blood, plague-stained eyes and frozen lungs. I smell the rot in their paper skin. They follow me home just to be seen. I've never learned how to say goodbye when they still talk, when they still cry. I light my candles, hold my breath, and try to love them out of death. Don't call it pretty, don't call it kind. It's survival of a different mind. I say things the living never see, hear the cries that won't let me be. I walk through ghosts on my way to the store, smile like I'm fine, but I'm haunted to the core. It's a blessing, it's a curse, it's me living between what is and used to be. Sometimes they whisper what I shouldn't know, the secrets of how they had to go. And I carry it, every scream, every prayer, like a cross I never asked to bear. If I could give it back, maybe I would, but helping them feels like being understood. I walk around people that aren't there. I say sorry to the air. And when the world sleeps, I keep the dead company. It's just them and me. I see things the living never see. I felt their pain, their tragedy. I talk to ghosts like they're old friends, and I never know where this world ends. It's a burden, it's a light, it's me. Forever between what is and used to be. They say I'm lucky, but luck doesn't smell like death. Still, I wouldn't trade it. Someone's gotta listen, and I always do.
Well,
She is killing it. I love
tell
it.
you what.
Right up my alley.
Yeah, that was really good. She sent me a few songs, and I told her we'd play them on the show. But Yeah, this is my friend Helena. I
She's
should
been
say
on the
our
show.
friend Helena from over across the pond, and she's made a few songs for us to listen to. So very thankful to her. We had an interesting weekend, a fun weekend at.
We had an amazingly fun weekend. It was a blast.
We had Cabin Con this past weekend at the Cabin on 360. Got to see
Yep.
some awesome people.
Yep.
Got to meet up with some old friends, and always fun when everyone gets together.
Always.
You
Always.
know, what are your thoughts on Cabin Con?
I mean, I met some of the greatest people, like, and everybody. I don't know. It was just such a group of like-minded people, and there was no drama, and there was no anything. It was so good. It was so good. Um, I mean, the lectures were great. Some very unique vendors there. Um, of course, I heard the investigations were off the chain.
Yeah,
And let's not even talk about the food. The food was amazing.
food was those hush puppies.
Hush puppies
Those hush puppies, and damn,
with the honey butter.
that taco you got looked pretty good too.
Yes, the tropical street tacos. They were on point.
The food was amazing. The people were great. You know, I did the investigation on Saturdays, and I got to investigate with 13th Floor.
Yeah, you were with John from FPRI, so
Yep, it was.
I was on the live, y'all. I was on the live. I couldn't.
Yeah.
I didn't have it in me to investigate, but I was on the live watching.
You were there. You were there in the live, and it was really, really fun. Nice crowd, nice weather too.
Yes.
It was incredible.
Yep.
Jay's trying to work on some difficult. Okay. Let's see. Okay. So some internet issues. Apparently the devil's gotten into their internet too. So we need to get like an exorcism on our computers here or something.
Yeah. Or go get your devil's food cake, evidently.
Yes.
Since it's devil's food cake day.
Ed Odell, Howie shared us out. I have a show with him tomorrow morning, I believe.
All right. All right. That's how
what's
Renee
going
shared
down?
it out. And then I'll go ahead and say hi to everybody really, really quick. Hello, Sharon Metter and Linda Nelson and Todd White, who is actually our new friend Rosetta that we're going to have on the show that we met this weekend. So like I said, we met a lot of great new friends.
Hello.
Badlands Paranormal. I don't know if it's Robin or Cody, but hey, we missed
Cody.
you guys. And then hi, Kevin, Z Sun Dragon, Lois Clark. Oh, it was Cody. Y'all survived meeting Annabelle. Well, I'm glad you survived it. Y'all's pictures were awesome. I had a great time. I'm glad y'all posted everything, just kind of living vicariously through you. Robert Odell, hello. Kason, you're back. Yay. And she did sound a little bit like Avril Lavigne. And I wish we could do more music on here, but nope. Helena King, she's been on the show with us as a co-host from time to time. And she is absolutely amazing. So I'm looking forward to her music coming out. Thank you, Renee, for sharing us out. Teresa's in the house. Our Canadian friend.
She was at Ohio State Reformatory last weekend.
Oh, wow. So was that where the race chasers were?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think Dustin Perry was there, and maybe Dave Schrader was there, and
there
were Paracons all over.
A lot of people. There was a lot of events this past weekend.
Yeah, it's like the first. I guess it was like the first like real Paracon weekend event. Event weekend that of the year, I guess, because I haven't heard of any Paracons before. Last weekend.
Yeah.
Like April, so this must be like the kicking off point.
Yep.
To the the Paracon season, and I think it was a lot of fun, and I'm looking forward to next year.
Yeah.
But we have got some really cool guests coming on the show tonight from Soul Fire Paranormal. But first, I need you to give us a little reading.
Got it. Again,
Let us know how to live our
the
lives.
new Outlaw Oracle deck. Just because I wanted to be spicy for the summer.
God, I am going to have a hard time staying positive after today. I'm not going to say anything.
Well, I mean, it's going to be that way again tomorrow, but then it goes away again.
Woo.
All right, let's see. What does a collective need to know for this week?
HPS is on the move, y'all, throughout Central Virginia and southward. Woo!
It would really help if I had some glasses in here. Hold on one second, please.
It always helps to be able to see. That's
put a
always
light
good
on it,
thing.
then I can see it better. So we got something a little different. Last week was all about fire. This is the monarch butterfly. So this is all about rebirth and transformation. And I think that's kind of the theme of what I see going on now, where everybody's transitioning from a lot of things. We're moving, kind of like you said, into Paracon season. Everybody's back out investigating. Kids are getting ready to be out of school if they are not already. I know that they're in some areas, kids are already out. Some have a week or two to go. So it's that really subtle transition from like spring to like we're really in vacation summer kind of mode. I think now is the time to kind of when I look at that, rebirth and transformation, it's like we're all coming out from the winter and all the things we had going on. So now is probably a time to kind of look at what you want to. You've got like a new slate, new spring, new summer. What do you want to accomplish, over these next few months when you have some time, you have extra days of daylight? What kind of things do you want to get done? What seeds did you plant over the fall and winter for things you wanted to be prosperous for this next summer? So I think it is time to get out and about. I think it's really easy to get into your mode where we've been, where, it's not always in the spring is it's super warm, but it's time to start getting out and about more than you normally do, and embrace the change, and embrace the chance to do something a little different. So that's what I've got this week.
Yeah, that's good. I mean, like you said, it's summer. You have extra time to get stuff done you want to get done. It's warm outside, and the stuff that you were working on in the winter time, working on yourself, what do you want to accomplish in the upcoming months?
Reflect on that. What did you say you wanted to have done before, and you still have time to do it? Summer has not officially started, so anything you kind of said, like, I'd like to get all of this done before we move into spring and summer. Well, if you didn't get it done, try to get it done now. Kind of look back at what you thought you wanted to occur, and there may be a possibility that what you thought you wanted ended up not being it at all.
And don't procrastinate, because you might think you have all the time in the world, but you don't.
No, because we're going to blink. It's going to be Christmas, and that's the truth.
It is. No, I mean, I wish. It's gonna, it's gonna feel slow in the time. Like I said, it feels like, oh my God, I have all the time. I feel like,
it's summer. We got all this summer ahead of us.
And you look back in September, you're like, holy shit, it's already done. So just take advantage of the time you have, and whatever you were preparing yourself for in the wintertime, now it's time to go out and do it. Speaking of doing things, I say we talk to Soul Fire Paranormal.
Let's talk to Soul Fire Paranormal.
Let's talk to Soul Fire Paranormal. Let's first bring on Josh Morris. I think maybe there it is. And let's bring on Jen. If I can get over here, as she is. Maybe. Come on. There we go.
We got Jen, but we lost one.
Josh Morris left us. What the heck? Yep. No. Yes. Yes. No. Yes. Okay. What's up, guys?
Hey, how are you?
Good.
Well, we are good. How are you guys doing?
Good.
That's good.
Josh
Is Josh
is muted.
on mute or something?
Sure looks that way.
Yeah, or it sure sounds that way. Or doesn't sound that way, I guess would be the right way to say it. Well, thank you, Linda Nelson. Linda Nelson just shared us out. We appreciate it.
Josh is deciding to try out the new mime technique.
Yeah, we're gonna do
He's
sign
checking it.
language.
He's trying out our lip reading skills.
Yeah, I was having the internet issues. He's having the sound issues. There's something here.
Yeah, man. I tell you what.
Sometimes when this happens, Josh, are you on a laptop or are you on a phone?
I mean, we can't hear what you're saying.
He's on a desktop.
All right, how about now?
Yeah,
There we are. Yay.
It defaulted back in the settings.
Oh,
Even
well,
though
there
I
you
set
go.
them. I
Work
set them
itself
when
out.
I came into the studio, and then for some reason it defaulted back, so I had to just go back in again. So there we go.
Awesome.
All right,
Awesome.
I'm here.
So, welcome to the show. Very excited to talk to you guys. We're gonna have you scheduled before, and I messed up, so I'm sorry. But now we're here and ready to go. Super excited to talk to you guys. First, I need to ask you a serious question.
Absolutely.
All right. Before you go investigating, what kind of music are you guys jamming to before you start your investigation?
You want me to answer this?
Yep.
Well, so I have a ritual, and so for those of you that don't know, for the longest time I had my own kind of TV show, and so then, you know, when I have my own custom theme song, and then now when we had just converted we started Soul Fire Paranormal, we have our own custom theme song. So tradition wise, as soon as we get in the car, the first song is our own theme song. And then after that, we got to at least hit Ghostbusters. We got to hit, there's another track that, you know, is a very spiritual one that kind of means a lot of, it's kind of a special thing. I can let Jen talk about that if she wants. But there's a few tracks that we got to hit for sure. And that's about it. Yeah, but we talked about actually putting together like a pregame set list, actually.
That's awesome.
That's so cool. You have your own theme song. That's so awesome.
Well, Josh wrote them. So
Yeah.
he writes
So
a lot of music.
So how did you guys get into the paranormal?
You can go, Jen.
I've experienced paranormal activity since my earliest memories. It's always been a part of my life. You know, it's been something that I've developed a lot of different relationships in. I did residentials alone for 28 years until I decided to go to this team aspect, and some other areas that I'm working in. But you know, it's just always been a part of who I am. And my first actual residential was 28 years ago. So it's, for me, it's a daily life. It's a lifestyle. It's every part of who I am, and in my home, and my everything about my life, pretty much.
Nice.
How about you?
Yeah. I started, what week is this? I started a few weeks ago. No, just kidding. I grew up, I had some experiences when I was a kid and things like that. And then I started getting into going to cemeteries with friends and doing like basic investigations with flashlights back then. There was no reality shows or equipment. It was just you, your buddies, and flashlights. So, you know, so I started there, but officially started doing some team stuff in about 25 years ago, 24, 25 years ago. And then the TV shows came out. The first TV show that came out, Ghost Hunters, that was the very first reality show in 2004. So some of you may remember that show with Taps, Jay and Grant. and my team got selected. We at that time I was in the Panhandle of Florida, and we had gotten selected to do a lot of preliminary investigations for, I think it was like season 2 or something like that, like because the show started blowing up, and so we got to do that, and just did a lot of residentials, a lot of things like that. And eventually, about 8 years ago, got into the social media aspect. Started doing a podcast. I got hooked up with Paraflix when they first started about 5 or 6 years ago, and they said, "Hey, you got some ideas? You know, you got a reputation in the industry." So I said, "Yeah, I got an idea." So I pitched them a show called Pair Explorers. I did that. It was an original series. I did that for a little bit. Then I did Teps Investigates for a little bit. I did some short films, and then eventually met Jen and said, and we decided, like, you know, hey, she's a solo superstar and I'm a team kind of TV superstar. So let's get together and start this whole new thing and discover some new investigation stuff. And so we're just on a whole different kind of mission now. One that involves a lot of education, mentoring, things like that.
So you bring up, you said you started out in Florida. Where are you guys based? Like, for the viewers, where are you based out of?
We're out of Tennessee. We're out of the Nashville area.
Very cool.
That's cool. That's a lot of cool places around there. Can you tell us, Jen, and then Josh, about your first paranormal experience?
Oh, the first one that really sticks with me, I mean, I have a lot of memories and things like that, but the one that was kind of that transformative one where I realized, hey, this isn't something everybody else sees. This isn't something everybody else understands. And this isn't quite real, right? Prior to that, it was like distinguishing between what I was seeing that was no longer here, but is here. It was all mixed together. But I was about 5 years old. And I remember waking up in the middle of the night and I was thirsty. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to go downstairs and I'm going to get myself a glass of water. And we had these stairs that had a railing that started about halfway down on the side. And as I came down the stairs and I got to where you could see through the railing, I looked into what was our formal living area. And there was a woman sitting on the couch. And she was just perfectly prim and proper in her skirt, perfectly over her knees, holding her hands in her lap. And I couldn't figure out, she had her hair in a bun right at the back of her head. And I just sat on the stairs and I just looked at her. And we were like having this conversation, but neither one of us was saying anything. And after a couple of minutes, I got up and I was like, okay, but I'm still thirsty. And I went down the stairs and got my glass of water and went back to bed. And when I went back upstairs, she was no longer on the couch. And I thought, well, where did she go? Why is she here? You know? And then I realized that she was gone and there were no doors. There was nothing like that. And I was like, oh, this isn't normal, right? And interestingly enough, you know, I didn't get confirmation until years later, literally 10 years later. We were in the basement and there was a tornado in the area. So, of course, we were all taking cover. And my dad was trying to keep us all occupied so the kids didn't freak out about the bad weather. And so he was going through an old box of like family heirlooms and he pulls out this picture and there was a cassette tape with it. And he was like, oh, y'all got to listen to this. Like my grandma used to play the harmonica. And we were like, okay, whatever. So he puts on this cassette tape of her playing the harmonica. And I'm listening to it. And he's like, here's her picture. Y'all, have you ever seen a picture of your great grandmother? And I was like, no. And he handed it to me and I about fell out because that was the woman who'd been sitting on the couch 10 years prior. And that was my, you know, those confirmation moments that make it all real. So
I found it interesting too, at that young of age, it did not scare you to death that there was just a lady sitting there. Wonder if that was that familiar connection that made you not afraid, or were you just never afraid of anything paranormal or ghosts? I know I wasn't.
No, I never was. I feel like, you know, I have so many memories with things that just like when I talk about them later with people, they're like, no, there weren't those other people in the room. And I have memories that date back to before I was a year old with like, I can describe rooms that I lived in and like we lived in the Philippines when my dad was stationed there. And I was only about 4 months old at the time. And I can accurately describe the layout of the house, the layout of the room, the smells, the tree that was outside the window, you know, and it doesn't make sense. It doesn't fit. It's like, why would you be able to remember those things?
Right.
So, you know, it's, for me, it was just something that I grew up with. It really, there's only been a couple of times that I've ever been scared, but that's just normal.
Yeah, I think for me, and by the way, just to address too, like, yeah, the Kingsport, Bristol, Knoxville area is where I was also heavily at before me and Jen started to converge. And so I'm very good friends actually with Jimmy from Outlaw. So shout out to Jimmy if he's ever watching or out there. But so yeah, I know those guys. SRS Paranormal is out this way. There's a few different places, or a few different paranormal teams out in Northeast Tennessee. So, but yeah, anyways, but for me, like Jen, I think I had learned about ghosts and stuff probably just from watching cartoons, right? Like seeing the
do and shit.
Yeah, silly ghosts, you know, things like that. But once I got, I think around like 9 or 10 or somewhere, we had this family farm cabin area. It was like 80 acres out in the middle of nowhere. My grandparents used it as a hunting location. And so, you know, they would take me up there. There was no power, no running water. You know, we just had to live like old pioneer days, just wash basins and stuff. You know, had to bring jugs of water. Anyways, well, it had snowed, you know, when we were up there for deer hunting season. It was all this fresh snow out there, and you had to drive back this dirt road and, you know, park. Like there was this whole process to get there, and there wasn't a lot of trees around either at the time. It was kind of hills, some patches of woods here and there. But we're laying there, and I'm laying like in a little mini bed off to the side upstairs, and then my grandparents are in another bed over on the other side of the room, and you could hear people walking around talking outside, and you could hear the footsteps in the snow. Okay, so you'd hear the crunching of the snow. You couldn't make out what they were saying, but they were talking. And I remember, like, I wasn't like scared. It was just more of curiosity. And then my grandma and my grandparents weren't scared, but the first time it happened that we recognized it, my grandma was just kind of like, she woke up my grandpa. She's like, Walter, she's like, go down, go see what that is. And then he goes out there with his flashlight, you know, his galoshes, you know, half dressed. And there was like nothing out there in the snow, like no footprints, nothing. They could never find any footprints or anything. And there's like no neighbors around. Like we're out in the middle of nowhere, and you can't just sneak up on the property. Okay. Plus, like I said, there's fresh snow out there. There's no footprints. And this happened quite often up there. And my grandparents actually did not, like, they weren't scared. So I think seeing that they weren't scared helped me as a child to kind of, I think, fuel my curiosity. And they just kind of was like, oh yeah, it's the ghost, you know, whatever. They would maybe laugh it off or have other little ghost stories. And they would sometimes tell their friends when they're sitting around playing cards or, you know, drinking or whatever. And so it was sort of naturalized for me.
So they had actually experienced it before, you think?
Well, I think they experienced other things, but I know that the one time when we first heard the voices, like I said, she kind of told my grandpa to get up. But after that, I don't think I don't remember. I think it was more of like, whenever we heard them after that, they were just kind of like, oh yeah, there's the ghost.
Where was the cabin again?
It was actually in the middle of Michigan.
Okay.
So, but it was like out in the middle of nowhere, like literally dirt road, you know, just nobody around.
Weird stuff happens in the woods.
But that cabin, it was actually like an old farmhouse, and it dated back to, I want to say the early 40s. It was part stone, things like that. Like I said, they had no electric, no running water.
Wow.
So,
You hear stories about Appalachia and, stuff happening in the woods. Weird shit happens out there.
Oh yeah.
It just becomes a part of life,
oh, there's a whole set of extra creatures out here as far as Appalachians go.
Mm.
Yeah, we've got witches, we've got feral Appalachian people.
Yes.
It's crazy.
And I think that's what people forget sometimes, because sometimes people will talk about like Bigfoot and things like that. I'm like, are y'all sure it's just not the feral people who have decided
Jen knows more about
hide out,
Jen's more of a Bigfoot person than I am. I have different either theories, or I just don't focus on it too much. But I have a whole thing about cryptids. But she's got connections to Bigfoot. She can tell you all about that.
Your Bigfoot connection?
He's like on speed dial with her.
Okay, maybe a slight exaggeration there, but no, I mean the first time I experienced the first time I experienced Bigfoot, I was about 10 years old, and it was in the Rocky Mountains. So, and that was just saw him, looked at him, looked at me, and that was the end of that.
All right. You were 10 years old. Was it the same kind of feeling you got when you saw your great grandma? Like, was it like were you scared or just kind of surprised? What was going through your head?
I was grateful it wasn't a grizzly, honestly. I mean, it was like, oh, that's new, but that was about it. It was like, oh, okay, who are you? But I mean, like I said, growing up with it, there were so many things that I experienced that were they're not normal for most people, but for me, it was just like, okay. And the other thing too is, growing up the way I did with all the experiences that I had, you learn as a child to sort out and identify like different energy signatures, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you don't even realize you're doing it. So like for me as an adult, I had to actually like go back and like try to understand what I had learned as a child and like reverse engineer it. And, Josh and I talk about it a lot. There's a lot of terms in the paranormal that after all these years in the paranormal, I have never used, I have never heard. I don't even know what they mean, but at the same time, I know exactly how it's used, why it's used, I can teach you how to do it, but, for me, it was always more of an energy thing, right? Being able to sort out what the energy was, being able to sort out what the intention is. So like if you walk into a haunted home and there are multiple spirits in there, being able to very quickly identify this one's good, this one's residual, this one not so happy. Why is he not so happy? And you want to be able to do that quickly, obviously for like safety reasons. But for me, it was something that I was able to do at a very, very young age because I kind of had to, because my childhood brain could not process everything. And I didn't have this stigma or the taboo that a lot of people have with paranormal, or had back then, especially. So I don't know. For me, it was just an energy thing. And I wasn't afraid of it.
That's a good way to put it. So you immediately knew just how it made you feel, whether you should be concerned or not. And I think that's something as a child, and it comes naturally. It's something we lose as an adult and have to go find again.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of things. Like I've gone back and studied a lot about like childhood development and childhood traumas and like different sociological systems and how they affect like the childhood brain, right? And how children cope in different ways than adults and the strategies that they apply. And that's one of those things that, we learn, we don't think about all the things that we learn from our parents at such a young age. We think about, oh, well, when I was a teenager, I got grounded, or, back in my day, we got took out behind the barn, that was still fine. Like we didn't have cameras everywhere. We hear that all the time. But there was so much more before that. And those first, 4 years of your life are so instrumental in foundational learning and development. And by then, we've already learned so many different coping skills that we do take into our future life. But it's not till we're older, like you said, as adults, that we start to go, oh, why do I do that?
Yeah.
Oh, how do I do that? Like, how long have I been doing that? Wait, have I been doing that my whole life? Like, where'd that come from? you know, and then you kind of have to like unpack that and go backwards and figure it out so you can move forward, you know?
Yeah. And the thing is too, is like, I think with my grandparents being chill about everything and normalizing stuff, I actually like, I can sit there and go in like some of the creepiest places, run down morgues. I can go down in the pitch dark, you know, sit there in the autopsy rooms, whatever you want, you know. I can do some of the scariest things that sometimes people will say are scary. I can do that. But put me in front of a horror movie or a scary movie, I'm like, nah, I'm not. I'm good. I don't like to
right
watch.
there. I cannot
The face
stand horror movies. And people are always surprised. They're like, "What? You go into these 100 places, but you don't like horror movies? It doesn't make sense." I'm like, "Well, nobody's jumping out at me."
This is true.
In a haunted building, and if they do, then I'll record and I'll catch it. But you know, it's people think that just because you investigate the paranormal, you should be into the horror movie stuff, and that's just not true.
But what I'm noticing, like with especially with paranormal, it's very one or the other. They're either I don't watch horror movies at all, or that's what I watch most of the time. There's no like, I'll watch it if it's on. It's one or the other with paranormal investigators. They're either all in or all out.
Yeah, I mean, I've watched a bunch. I've watched a bunch of them, but I don't like it. Like, I don't prefer to watch horror movies. Like I said, for me, it's the real life stuff is, I find a lot of peace in it too. Like, I'll be in the dark and it's like peaceful. It's like some of the best rest. I almost fall asleep sometimes. People are like, "Oh, it's going to do an alone challenge, you know, and be in the dark for 30 minutes in this place, this scary place." I'm like, cool, I'll do it.
Peace and quiet. There we go.
I get to like chill out for 30 minutes. The only reason why I don't fall asleep is because there's a camera pointed at me half the time.
Right.
With my kids snoring.
We have one member of our team. I won't say her name. But she's
okay, there's it down.
her.
Right.
And
one other female.
She's kind of scared of the dark, but it was really funny. We were in an investigation, and I'm sitting right next to her, and it's like we're at the end. We're talking. It's 4:45, 4:30 in the morning, and I hear a noise, and I look at I guess my movement startled her because it was a straight up snore, and I just moved and looked, and she said, "Yep."
Yep.
So I was sleeping.
We had someone fall asleep at the cabin last weekend. Yeah, we had a guy fall asleep in the last round at the cabin last weekend. I heard him snore and look over. This guy has his head bent over, and he's like, "Oh shit, sorry, didn't mean to do that." But yeah, when it gets towards the end of an investigation, like at 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning, and you're in a dark room, especially when it's a slow investigation. You know, sometimes it's hard to keep your eyes open.
Oh yeah, and which a lot of people don't realize is a lot of investigations are pretty boring. Actually, you know, it's not like the TV shows. But I'll pose this question out there to everybody, and that is, what is your most recent, coolest kind of paranormal activity?
Well, let's see.
I'm thinking of one me and Jen experienced.
I want to hear that.
Yeah, let's hear yours. And then
You want me to share that one?
Yeah.
Okay, so, you know, like after you've been doing this so long, you know, if you talk to people, they're like, what's the scariest thing that's happened to you, right? And you're like, okay, we've all been touched, we've all been pushed, we've all, you know, at this point, it's kind of old news. But we actually experienced something that was very different for us. And it was actually at the Ditto House in Kentucky.
Yeah, caught us off guard. We just
yeah. It was a relatively quiet night as far as activity goes, and we were upstairs in this hallway sitting area, and everybody else was downstairs. You could kind of hear them over in the kitchen area on the other end of the house, and we had just been sitting there kind of feeling the energies, feeling the vibe, and we both looked because it coming out of one of the rooms, there was a flashlight, and it was like moving up and down, you know, like you would expect a light beam from a flashlight. And we fully expected somebody to come out of that room, and you could hear the footsteps also, like that accompanied it, right? So we were waiting for somebody to come out of that room and go into the bathroom across the hall. We were like, somebody's got to go to the bathroom. And nothing happened. And we just stopped and we looked at each other and we're like, wait, the light didn't continue. The flashlight we didn't hear a click on a flashlight. The floor didn't creak right there. The door to the bathroom didn't open. There's no light going back the other direction because the light signature would be different going back the other way. There was no reverse footsteps going back the other direction, and there were no more exits. So
this is the kind of
where
house
did this person go?
This is definitely the kind of house that if y'all know when you're in a historical type home or almost any home, you can hear every freaking noise. So you know when people move, even just a little bit, even if they try to tiptoe. But anyways.
Yeah, so of course, we just look at each other and we're like, oh, that was pretty cool. Right? And so we get up and we go chasing it. We're trying to see if anybody was up there, but we're being quiet. We're being sneaky because if somebody was up there, we don't want to be like, no, I wasn't up here. We want to find out the truth. And there's no lights, there's no reflections, there's no way a car or any type of light could have reflected through the window from where the window was in the room. Like, we debunked the whole way over. We get into the far bedroom where the other staircase is, and we started calling for people, and somebody started coming up the stairs. Well, we interrupted their conversation for them to start coming up the stairs. They had no idea any of this had happened. They were all downstairs. Everybody was accounted for. It was just me and him. And of course, it was one where we were like, you know what, this is just going to be a really cool night. Let's just experience this.
Mm-hmm.
So we didn't have all of our cameras. We didn't have all of our recorders, and we experienced it. But it was a pretty awesome experience, honestly. It's one of those things that, there were so many parts to it that you couldn't debunk it. And you just sat there for a minute thinking that was a nice experience. That was good. That's why we do what we do, right?
We legitimately thought we were just going to get up, go down the hall, turn the corner, and see like one of the investigators sitting there. Maybe they were sitting down. They weren't moving. We legit thought we were just going to run into another investigator. And when we didn't see them, we were like both like, what the hell? That's when it turned into, okay, what's going on? And then, but yeah, that was a really good one. That was a very strong experience because of how matter of factly, like, we just both really legitimately thought it was just somebody with a flashlight getting ready to come out of the house. And we started to debunk stuff. There was no way it could have been a light flashing from another, like a street, with a car light on the second story, or there was like blackout curtains hanging there. Like, we started doing all that, but it was crazy.
It's one thing I think in the paranormal as an investigator, and I've had to kind of get myself there. Like, the best thing ever would be to catch something and be able to show it to people. But sometimes I truly believe spirits show us what we're meant to see, what we're meant to experience, what we need to understand more so than something to give it out to the public, Well,
and I think Jen and I, we just decided to just sit there and shut up and just feel and observe, and just sat there and we didn't run any experiments. We didn't do any questions. We just sat there. We just sat there for a little bit just to feel things out and just to let the home speak to us. And then the flashlight thing happened.
I think it's really cool that you two got to experience that together.
Yeah.
It's not just one person experiencing it. You both have a shared experience, so it kind of validates both of your experiences.
Yeah, it definitely made it that much cooler.
Yeah.
Well, what did the other people say?
It kind of proved another thing that Josh and I talk about a lot, and that sometimes, like, when paranormal teams get to locations, you have your little team meeting, and then it's like, we're going to go run these experiments, right? And they skip this step of, let's meet the energy, right? Let's meet the spirits. Let's let them get used to us. And it's like, we were just talking about this last weekend at another investigation, where sometimes it's like, spirits can feel like you just burst into their home and then just started badgering them with questions, right? And they don't want to talk to you because now you're rude. But a lot of teams don't take enough time. 3 minutes is not enough, or a quick walkthrough is not enough to have that shared energy. And that shared energy in those quiet times, that's when you really start to see a lot more activity, because they're comfortable with you. They trust your intentions. They understand why you're there. They realize that you're not there to just, make them famous or send more people in there to chase them, and that was one of those moments where it kind of confirmed what we have experienced in past investigations of, it is important to just sit there without running experiments. Just be a part of the environment in the home or the location and connect with them.
Yeah, I mean, the best way to think of it is imagine being in your home and it's just like super quiet, chill, and all of a sudden the relatives all show up at once for the holidays. And now it's chaos. They're coming in there. If anybody's watched National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation 1,000 times, it's like when the relatives show up, all of a sudden it's like this and that, and chaos is going on. And that's what it's like for the spirits when they're just chilling in the home, and all of a sudden the investigators show up. The investigators are excited. They show up. They're like, oh, yeah. And then they're breaking out all their fancy gadgets and gizmos and stuff. And they're like, all right, guys, let's do this. Let's break into teams. I mean, I've been doing it for years, so I know what it's like. So, yeah, and I'm guilty of it. I'm guilty of it back in the day. I used to do that a lot, But I just wanted to put that out there. That's what it's like for the spirits. So think about that for those of you that are watching, that are investigators. Like, next time you go to a place, maybe just actually hang out for a second, just to absorb the location for a little bit, and then kind of start feeling it out, and then kind of go from there, establish a little bit of rapport.
Yeah, I like that idea. I mean, we've always been very careful when we go in to take a minute to explain why we're there and introduce ourselves, but it never really. That's a really good point. Come in there, and before you even do that, let's just sit quietly and see what we're feeling, seeing, sensing, and hearing.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So what are you guys' experiences that are recent?
What do you think, Ron? What's your most recent experience?
I think one of my most recent, and it's not even that interesting, but it was interesting in the moment, and it gave us something really to play off of all night. My team is a host team for a historic location here in Virginia, and we had a public investigation, and we had all the equipment out and all the colors and everything, and so it just kind of sent me down a rabbit hole, if you will. And so some of the guests, we're letting them ask questions. So they're asking questions. Do you like the red light better? Do you like the green light better? Do you see the purple light? Flash whichever color you like best. They're doing that. All of a sudden, I just asked, do you see things in color? Because, a lot of times we ask, what do we look like? We got a pretty clear EVP that said no. And so we kind of played off that all night. And the very next group that came in, we played off of it again. And my colleague on the team said, the last group that was here, we asked the question, if you all see in color, can you tell us if that's accurate? And we got another clear EVP that said, no, what do you mean? Which was just curious to me, because we're always trying to understand, what do we look like to them? What do they look like to us? We've got that kind of thing. So it was one of those things that night, like one question got our wheels turning all night, and theories and thoughts, and like maybe we're not even. There's my colleague there. He just joined us.
Right there.
Like, so, John, I'm just talking about how we hit the color thing. Like, what do they see? And with the EVPs we got. So it was just a really interesting that made me kind of, and I think John too as well, kind of step back and go, interesting.
That is interesting. I never thought about asking if they see us in color,
or even the light on the equipment that we're looking, or is it just a light?
Or asking how they even see in the first place.
Yeah.
How you can be? It's so like so many questions. Like, how do you talk without a voice? How do you touch? How do you see? How do you? I don't know if they smell or not, but it's.
Or Or like you, that's a good point. Like even because sometimes people I've noticed in investigation will say, "I smell fire" or "I smell perfume." Like, how do you do that? How do you do that? How do you make us smell that? So it had me thinking for sure with the responses we did get that night. Like it, so it wasn't anything like kind of like your flashlight, but it was one of those that really just made me go, "Huh? Wait a minute. Wait a minute."
Those are really cool too, though. That we've had a few experiences like that where it's like, wait, now we got to question everything we thought we knew.
Yes.
Where do we go from here? What's the next question? Can we get, like you did, ask it again at another time and see if you get the same result, right?
Right.
Like absolutely. But yeah, those are really cool experiences too. Those are kind of like changing for everybody, right? Just like everybody,
Yeah.
like the first time they experience paranormal and they're like, oh, it does exist. Now I'm no longer a skeptic. Now I'm a believer. What does that mean? But those types of questions kind of have that same shift in mentality and keep people, growing. They're exciting.
I still don't believe. No, I'm just kidding. No, I do try to maintain as close. Like I will say, I'm on the believer side of the fence, but I still, to this day, try to be as neutral as I can when I go into investigations. I really try my best to bury as much confirmation bias as I can, regardless of what I know about a location. Even if I accidentally learn about a location or history or any of these things, I try to go in with an open mind. And I always use this example, so Jen's going to probably laugh at me, but I get sick of investigators that go to, like, say, if you were to get to investigate Graceland, Elvis's estate. Well, if they talk to a spirit, guess what? They say, Elvis, is this you? And that's a leading question, right? So, I mean, it's you're going to be that have that confirmation bias, and you're going to believe, or they just go ahead and assume whoever they're talking to is going to be Elvis or somebody associated, when you can talk to spirits at a location that is not even associated with that location. Correct. So
I think it comes naturally, though. When you go to some place where like George Washington was there or something like that, it's going to come naturally. You're going to ask about that without even thinking about it.
And that's where you want to train yourself over time to not ask those questions or not to get into that bias, because I can't tell you how many times I've talked to spirits that were not associated with the location, right? So you really want to do your best that, you might be going to, Washington's old estate or Jefferson's old place or something, whatever, who knows where you find yourself. But you really, really just want to find out what's going on there by asking just good old-fashioned questions about, is there a spirit that would like to communicate? Or, are you a male? Are you a female? Like just figuring out who it is. Could you tell us your name? Without being like, hey, did you lead the Revolutionary War? What are
you talking about?
Are you Elvis? Of course I am today. I'll be Elvis.
Right. So
that's how I feel about the spirit. Like they're like, are you Marilyn Monroe? Oh, hell yeah, I am.
So yeah, it's just like training yourself. And I've done it. I've done it. I've slipped up and I've asked leading questions, and I don't mean to. It's like, oh crap, I should have said that. But it's trying to catch it and just learn to not do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think
Ryan's right though. It's natural. It's like a knee jerk, a first response. And I always find your example of Elvis so funny because there's all that news about how he's not dead and he's that pastor, and so clearly he's talking to us through our spirit boxes because he's deceased, but yet he's still alive. So
it'll be like 30 more years, and they're gonna be like, Elvis is not dead. It's like, dude, he would have been like 150. Quit.
Yeah. That's a good question I have for the two of you. It's come up a few times, and we've kind of noticed it with just spirit boxes. Do you find you all get a lot of names on spirit boxes?
I mean, we have a clip from last year. It was very interesting to us because we were actually doing a funeral home, right? And it was right after this funeral home had hosted a whorehouse. So they had all these people going through there getting the crap scared out of them, right? And they closed it down, and we started investigating, thanks to Jimmy, by the way. We were, I totally lost my train of thought because I started having memories.
Spirit box name.
Yes.
Spirit box names.
Josh was doing a spirit box session, and we hadn't been calling each other by names or anything. We had been separated. So it was like 2 and 2. So we were just like, hey, what's going on over there? Did you hear that? You know? And we went to a completely separate area of the house, or the funeral home. And Josh asked the spirit box, can you say the name of someone here? Maybe someone you'd like to talk to.
Oh, yeah, I remember now. Okay.
Oh, it named off all 4.
Really?
Wow.
One right after the other. All
Yeah, we
4.
got it on clips.
That's cool.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a clip of it, actually. I think it's on our Facebook page, and it's on our YouTube, I believe. But yeah, I mean,
Instagram,
it was kind of cool. We had to listen to it a few times. They're like, did it really say that? And that too, that was an interesting night too, because that investigation took place before we even started discussing names for our team. There's a clip of this also. We had not even decided if we were going to join a team or form a team together, or if we were going to continue with our old teams, or how we were going to do anything. It was not a discussion at all. And of course, like a lot of investigators, it took us months to go through the footage, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, it was funny because when we went through the footage, the spirit box said Soul Fire. But we had just named the team that like a month before, and we were like, wait a minute, what?
Yeah.
So it was really crazy.
Yeah.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Wow.
Yeah, and now I will say this, and I know sometimes I might, like, I know I come off sometimes as like I'm like mentoring people. That's just what I do. That's what Jen does. That's why we do what we do now. We're in the role of mentorship nowadays and teaching people and helping people. And so, but the one thing I will say about spirit boxes is that be careful which ones you use. Do your research, because now I know the people at Ghost Stop probably get mad at me, but the S box is not one of my favorites.
Me either.
I used to like it for when I was filming a TV show, because it would give me a lot of false positives. And so it sounded great. It sounded like you were getting a lot of stuff. But if you read the way it works, is it scans through, and then it'll actually do a quick little pause when it thinks it has a hit. Well, that kind of defeats the purpose of a spirit box. As it scans through the frequencies, it's not supposed to just stop and hang for a second. Well, then you're going to start getting more phrases from that frequency. And so I'm not a fan of certain. That's why I always tell people, make sure you read your spirit box. Like, does it have any additional features that were programmed into it? Things like that. Does it hang up on stuff? You know, I do like things like once you have a good S box, you know, get into the Estes method. You know, do some things like that to try to help eliminate some of that.
It's good advice.
Yeah. I'm glad I'm not the only one that's not a fan.
Although I've had some good experiences with the spirit box in the cabin, where well, actually, it was in the Brick Rancher. For those if you don't know, there was a little girl who was shot and killed by her older brother Randy in the Brick Rancher next to the cabin on 360, and we were in the girl's room. Her name's Melissa. We were in her room, and my friend Dennis asked if the name Randy is significant, and voice came through. Little girl's voice came through. It said he did it, clear as day. And so it's, you know, confirmation, intelligent response that came through on a spirit box. And I've gotten the N word a couple of times on a spirit box over there as well, which probably wouldn't be happening on a regular radio station.
No, not that I can think of.
Yeah. Although it'd be probably be taken off the air if it was, so
True,
probably
yeah.
not the best idea.
Not even
to
here.
use those words. But we are almost out of we're almost out of time. But I wanted to give you guys a chance to talk about your podcast you guys have.
Oh yeah, we have lots of projects going on right now. We've got a whole bunch of stuff coming up, but the Paranormal Council is something we absolutely love. Josh can talk a little bit about it, but it's one of those things where we love being able to put it out there and have these discussions and let people learn through just watching discussion, right? But also for us individually, all four of us on the council, we learn from each other every single day we talk.
Yep.
There is something we are learning about some aspect, whether it's history, paranormal, religion, different practices, different approaches, different residential cases. We learn something every single day. So being part of it is both a mission and a blessing.
Yeah.
For us,
I mean,
so.
well, yeah, the Paranormal Council was like Jen and I we wanted to set out to have sort of a type of podcast that was subject based, and it was four of us. So there's four regular, you could say, cast members or panel council members, right? And one of them, we kind of have a spectrum. Okay, so you could say we got like we actually have a literal Baptist priest, okay, who's on the council, and then on the far end you would say probably Stacy, with Piomeumbo and Hoodoo Voodoo, Santeria, like he knows all the all that witchy stuff, spiritualism, remote viewing, all kinds of things. But you got me and Jen in there. Jen more toward because she has abilities and remote viewing, and she has a lot of things too. So, but then I'm more of the ghost hunter, a lot of technical stuff, some intuition, some things here. So we have the spectrum, and so really we just pick subjects, and then we'll talk about those, and you get four different perspectives. You get that education a lot of times. So we're really proud of the show. It's pretty cool, and it just got picked up to be on Paraflix as well. So it's going to be on Paraflix, so you can watch it live on YouTube and Paraflix, and I think even some of our other social media stuff. So yeah, we got all kinds of other stuff coming up. We're even putting together an local event with vendors and other spiritual folks. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah,
Wow,
we've
that's
got a bunch
awesome.
of expos coming up and guest speaking. Josh is hosting at West Kentucky, and I'll be speaking there at the West Kentucky Paranormal Expo. Josh and I are both working on a number of different projects. Hopefully, sometime around fall, we'll be releasing a bunch of those. So, yeah, there's just a lot going on. We're kind of quiet, but we're busy.
Your chat's been great, by the way. I've been watching a lot of the comments and the interaction, and I tried hitting a few of them, but yeah, your chat's been great. So
Yeah, we are very thankful to our chat members, people who hang out with us every week, and we are super thankful for you guys coming on the show with us tonight.
Yeah,
we appreciate you having us.
It was a lot of fun, and everyone check out the Paranormal Council, which is on Thursday nights, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
Thursday,
9
Eastern,
9 o'clock. Guys, check them out, and check out Soul Fire Paranormal. Go to their TikTok page, go to their Facebook page, like and subscribe, and check out the Paranormal Council every Thursday night at 9 o'clock p.m. Thank you guys for joining us tonight. We really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you guys.
We hope to talk to you soon.
All right. Sounds good.
Have a good one.
Bye.
Bye. Well, that was fun.
That was a good conversation. I could have talked to them for quite a while.
Me too, but Luna's over here whining for some reason. I don't know what the heck's going on with her. So I'm gonna have to get going, but we will be back. Speaking of Thursday at 9 o'clock p.m., we're
We'll
going
be
to
on
be
the
back
TikTok.
on the TikTok on Thursday, 9 o'clock p.m. with
Yep.
our good friend Dana.
Dana, it's been a while. That'll be
It
awesome.
has. It has. Feels like it has, anyways. Actually,
Yeah,
I feel
it
like
does.
we're just on there with her and Mandy not too long ago. I guess it's been a
Yeah.
month.
Yeah.
So now we are back, and she's gonna be back giving tarot card readings. So we can have TikTok on your phone,
Yep.
getting tarot card readings, and then you can be watching. You can do both.
Yeah.
Watching Paranormal
You can
Council
totally do both.
and have us on TikTok on
Yeah.
Paranormal Council computer and TikTok on the phone, and you can do
That's
both.
right. That's right.
Multitasking, guys. That's what
Yeah.
we're talking about.
But I do like, I mean, you know, you meet guests, and I do really like their vibe, and I like how they approach things. So I think the council sounds like if you're new in the paranormal or even in the paranormal, if you want to check them out, because I feel like I feel like it's one of those things like there's certain people you encounter and you're always learning something new. And I feel like that group might be just that.
I like the idea of what they're doing, of
Yes.
just having a different perspectives
Yep.
on the topics that they're discussing. So
Yeah.
it's not just, a one-sided conversation. You can have a
Yep.
real debate and stuff, and that's really cool. That's really awesome. And definitely check them out every Thursday at 9 o'clock. I don't have any guests for next week yet, so we may
Maybe a free for all. Look
maybe a
out,
free for
folks.
all. We will see. I have a feeler out to Haunted Foodie
Okay.
because she we missed last time, so it may be her, but it may just be us. So
Okay.
if it is just us, we have a good time.
Oh
We'll
yeah.
have a good time either way. But we'll be back here Thursday night with Dana Marie Volmer doing free tarot card readings on TikTok. Same freaking awesome time.
Same freaking awesome show.
See you then.
Good
Bye.
night, everyone.